What?
Who is the God of the Old Testament? Who is the God of the Old Testament? Same God as the New Testament.
All right.
Now it's fascinating. There you go. That's it.
All right. No, it's not.
One of the things, and this is as I'm preaching through Genesis, it's really fascinating because God reveals himself to people that don't know him. They're like illiterate. And they're coming out of a society they're a pagan society where they believe in many, many gods. I mean, every area has a different god. There's a god of sexuality and a god of fertility, of this type of thing over here, and of nature and power and storms and the sun god. And they're represented in Egypt. You got cats and foxes, and all the different things are believed to be gods. And so, when the Bible starts to tell us, God starts to tell us about himself, he's dealing with people that came from this culture that believed in so many different gods. And he's trying to make it clear that there's only one true God. But he's got to really, talk to them. And throughout the Old Testament, that's actually the story of people running away from the one true God and running after other gods. Oh, this God. No, I'm going to go to this God. And the Philistines had their gods, and the Syrians had their gods. And the story is really a competition between gods. And Yahweh, when Abraham asks Moses, at the burning bush, God reveals himself. He's out being a shepherd in the desert. He's run away from Egypt. And God reveals himself to Moses at the burning bush and actually talks to him. And he says, but when I'm going back, you're telling me to go get the Jews out of Egypt. When I'm going back, who do I tell them? Sent. And that's where we get the name Yahweh. He says, I'll tell him I am sent you. What's great about that is he's basically just using the Jewish or the Hebrew form of the word is. Tell him that is sent you. And all God is saying with that is that I define all being. Like I'm the bottom floor that everything else rests upon. That I am the one self-existent. I don't need anything else. Nothing created me. And so he's defining himself as the creator of all things, as the sustainer, the one, when you get to the bottom of atoms, right? What are parts of atoms? Neutrons, protons, and electrons. That's right. So if we know our chemistry, but then we go down below that, we have the subatomic particles, right? There's some of the things that help them hold together, and then we get to forces that we're barely being able to measure. What's the one they discovered it? The CERN collider discovered the Bose-Higgs and whatever particle. That they this very bottom level of existence. And they're trying to figure out how does the universe hold together. And my question is, if you get down small enough, what's there? I think it's really the power of God. That helps, and that's the Bible just says the power of God holds everything together. And so when God reveals himself in the Old Testament, that's so much different, by the way, than the Greek gods and the pagan gods of the Philistines and the Canaanites around them and the Egyptians and the Assyrians. They all have local gods, and it's just like India now. You go to India, and they have like 300 million gods in India. They have a god of the rats. There is a temple where they worship rats. And literally let the rats run all over them. I mean, there are tens of thousands of rats in this temple. And they worship rats. Because that's some god. And then they have little shrines of all these other little gods. Some people worship their ancestors, and they put up little shrines and incense in their home, especially like in Japan. So what's the difference? These are all very localized gods, and the problem is, those gods really can't help you. In the Old Testament, basically, over and over, God is saying, hey, run to your piece of wood. See if your piece of wood can help you. I mean, like the one passage says, okay, this piece you carve into a little idol, and you worship it, and you burn it in the fire. That's the essence of your God. So God's really making himself, I am not like that. I am not a local deity. I transcend. I heard a sermon this last weekend where Daniel was being held captive in Babylon. And God allowed the Jews to go to Babylon, and he even allowed the sacred things from his temple to go there. But you see, all the other localized little gods, they resided with their sacred things, and what they believed is that if their temple was taken, their God was defeated. And the Jewish God was saying, no, I actually did this. I allowed it to happen. I'm everywhere. I'm not defeated because you took a few things out of a building. And so, again, over and over, he's just defining himself. And that's why atheists, for instance, will say something like, hey, we just believe in one less God than you. You know? And like that, so you're kind of atheist too. And I actually say, well, I kind of agree with that. I disagree. I don't believe in any of these little gods. I only believe in one big God. And he helps define the rest of existence. And without that one big God, nothing else makes sense. And throughout the Old Testament, again, he's saying that. One of my favorite books is Ecclesiastes. And it says, meaningless, meaningless, vanity, vanity. And he says, wealth is meaningless, relationships are meaningless, even human wisdom. Everything under the sun is meaningless. In other words, everything in creation without God is meaningless. It's only when you have a larger purpose, something that's eternal, something that God puts in place, that he provides real meaning. So that's the God as he presents himself in the Old Testament. And then, to truly understand God, we come to the New Testament and we see his character lived out in Jesus. That's the Trinity, you see. He says he is the very representation of this Old Testament God. You thought he was really far away. In fact, he's close. He's right here. He wants relationship with you. And so Jesus said, hey, you want to get to know God? Look at me. I'm the way to God.